This is Kuro, got a tier 10 replay in my Z52. Going over the matchmaking, I have a double Des Moines, a Donskoy, a Cleveland, and for the destroyers, a Gearing, Shimakaze, and Kagero. The map is Haven. Domination style battle. And let's go ahead and kick this off. One thing to note, the Republic, a Des Moines, and the Shimakaze are in a division. Anytime you see, a triple three-man division or a division in general, they will usually be playing, supporting each other, and you can kind of figure out what their game plan's going to be based on the ships they're bringing. As we start this off, I spawn on the seaside. Already I can tell this is most likely going to be a weak flank with how our Moskva turned into B. It's probably only going to be these three ships. Maybe I might get a cruiser to park in behind this island for some radar support. But at this point, I'm already starting to think that I need to play careful. I need to conserve my hit points, and my objective here is to try to delay a push through here into our decap as long as possible. So coming up here, tentatively my plan is I have smoke, I have hydro, but there's still a lot of radar here. I want to stay kind of near cover, but I still want to be able to try to contest the cap. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to head in this direction. I'm going to try to hang tight to this island, so if I do get radared, I can tuck myself back here, and only people back here really can shoot at me, and I can just push my way into this little cove and just ride out whatever. And while I'm doing that, my hydro can be spotting anything back in here for my team to shoot. So that's my general game plan. Somebody in chat actually gives us a heads up that there's a DD headed into CCAP, and I go on ahead and the DD spotted. I don't know if he's running concealment expert or what, but he was spotted pretty far out for a Kagero. I start shooting at these guys. Shimakaze is a bigger threat than a Kagero, so I want to get some damage on him. I'm going to try to launch just one set of torps. I was worried about them hitting the island. That's why I didn't drop the second set. Honestly, probably a waste just to even drop the first set, but they reload quick, so it doesn't really matter. I hop back in here to kind of exercise my game plan, and my hydro spotting the Kagero, spotting the Cleveland, and the Donskoy's taking shots back there. I think this Des Moines back here might be shooting at me too, but I'm just tucking my way back in here. They're gonna have a hard time hitting me, especially with me juking back and forth. At this point, a nasty little trick that you can play with German hydro is, say if this Cleveland is hydro spotting me, their hydro's good to 4.8, 4.9, something like that. I can actually sit there just outside of their range of hydro, and with my 5.9 kilometer range, I can keep him hydroed while I'm perfectly safe. And the only move that he would have would be to basically back away from the island where I'm at which point I can just chase him into the island to keep him lit as far as possible. I go to try to use this smoke as like an apron to conceal me from detection, but their Shimakaze actually is pushed way deep into the cap. That's telling me that this Shimakaze player is either going to be really good, or he's way too aggressive and he's going to get himself killed. So right now I'm starting to work out some kind of enemy profiles on what I think that I'm going to be facing. This Kagero, I don't think he was radar detected. Unless, well, I saw our Neptune smoke, so the Neptune's definitely does not have radar. So I don't think this Kagero has concealment expert, or potentially not, might be running target acquisition. That'd be kind of crazy, but something's going on there. So I kind of question how effective this guy's going to be. Shimakaze, right now I'm pushing up here. My objective is to see what's going on in the cap. And I run into a Kagero. Just, I don't know what this guy's doing. He's just parked in the cap. First shots knock out his engine. He's repaired. Second volley, pretty good hit. And I don't think this guy has last stand either. That's what threw my previous volley off, and there goes the Kagero. At this point, I'm holding off my repair. Donskoy, I'm still within radar range, and I know there's this Des Moines somewhere back there, plus this Cleveland can shoot at me. So I'm trying to get more behind this island before I repair. You know, it's risky, but repairing early, and that's really just me playing cautious. The few seconds it takes me to play safe, it's not costing my team anything. And right now, I'm looking at this, and I see that we're going to lose this flank. There's no way that our Neptune's going to be able to do it. Our Alsace, pushing into cap like that, he's going to get focused down by all these cruisers. And that's what I'm pointing at on the mini-map right now. So what my game plan is, I don't want to waste the time to come back down here. There's really nothing for me. So what I want to try to do, and there goes our Neptune. It's starting to fall right now. I'm going to pop my speed boost, and I'm going to head in here. Our Alsace is on the cap. So there, you know, there's not going to be any sort of indicators unless I run into a destroyer or something that, you know, a DD is making this move. So this is me just being kind of sneaky and trying to be able to relocate in a completely new area without them, you know, getting a chance to radar me, anything like that. And if you had been watching the mini-map, it was also doubly effective because their Shimakaze was on B cap. And popping up like this, he's in trouble. I've got Hydro active. The reason why I'm not popping smoke is there's still radar everywhere and people can shoot at me. I want to get closer in past these rocks before I actually smoke up. Now theoretically, they still could radar me, but I think they're out of range right now. I don't know exactly where this Des Moines is, but I think I'm pretty safe because our Alsace killed the radar cruisers that were close in here. So I smoke up, just trying to get some extra damage in here, and I see the Des Moines pop up, and I am within radar range. If you look 10.5 kilometers, he's well inside that. He's about 9 kilometers away. I'm shooting in smoke. It's a matter of time before I get radared. So I'm starting to push up. I'm trying to get some extra damage in on this Shima. And I see the torpedoes. I haven't been radared yet. Starting to think that these guys don't have it right now. So I'm just going to try to dodge these torpedoes real quick. I don't want to be trying to dodge and deal with radar at the same time. The Republic that was in their division is getting ready to go down. Trying to get some damage in on him. But if you look, my Hydro's still spotting the Shimakaze. At this point, the Cleveland or the Des Moines. One of the two is radaring me. Now at this range, I see our Cleveland's fighting our Cleveland. So I'm just going to turn my guns. I've got cover here. I'm going to pause this video right here. I've got cover here. Nothing can shoot me here on the minimap. I'm using this island as cover. And I mean, my AP, this Cleveland is trying to bow onto this Cleveland, and we've got this guy in a crossfire. This guy, he's ready to be punished. I know that my Cleveland's going to die because this Des Moines is going to absolutely wreck him. But I want to get something for the trade, and a Cleveland for a Cleveland, you know, I'll take it. So that's why I'm not just bailing on this fight. I want to get this kill. I want to make sure we get something. At the same time, all of this is going down. My Hydro spotting would be spotting this Des Moines. This Des Moines is probably shooting at my Cleveland. And I know that there's a Shimakaze up here that I probably will spot if he cuts back into C-cap. I doubt he's gonna go all the way around. So, sorry for breaking up the flow of battle, but just want to kind of explain what I'm doing right here, because it may seem aggressive. This isn't a high damage match, but this is just kind of delaying and making sure that the enemy is going to pay for whatever they're taking. And you know, my positioning as the enemy tries to push into D, all I'm going to do is rotate into A, cap it, and then move in back into C cap, and you know, it's going to leave them with a very hard time trying to deal with me because their Shimakaze is low health. Gonna go ahead and get this thing going again. Right here is a little bit of a misplay. I pushed too far forward and lost sight of that Cleveland. And with my Cleveland down, it's time just to play safe. I did get the last second spot on the Shimakaze. I know he's going to be headed in this direction. Right now I'm radar detected. I'm assuming it's radar. Could be hydro. But no, that's Cleveland radar with as short a duration it is. But basically, just chilling back here. I'm in no hurry. I'm gonna just hang out here. And what I'm doing right here, I'm trying to see if I can pick up this Shimakaze and get a cheeky kill. And when that doesn't work, I'm gonna try to spot this Des Moines for my Moskva and my two battleships back here. So kind of going in this direction. If I get radared, I can just turn it out behind this island and get safe. Starting to spot him now. There's a low health Cleveland. I still want to try to get that guy. Coming up here to try to smoke my Moskva. But at these ranges, you know, he's gonna, if he shoots, he's still gonna be detected. I see the Shimakaze, so I'm just gonna shoot. And I look back and my Moskva, he's dead. Des Moines firepower, just too much. Too much. Trying to get some damage on this Shimakaze. I think the Moskva gets him, which is a good play on the Moskva's behalf. Oh no, our Des Moines got him. And right here, just taking some blind shots. There's that low health Cleveland over there. Want to try to pick that guy up. I'm being radared by one of the cruisers at this point. Cleveland pops up. If you look, you can kind of see where that spotting line is. Actually, he's being spotted by our Des Moines here. But he's broadside to me, German AP. I don't want to take the time to go around the island or any of that, so I'm just going to pull up here, stop. Probably actually would be quicker to beach, and then just reverse off the island. There's some locations though that gets sketchy because you beach and then it's there's like a bugged out island or something and you get hung up. So sometimes it's good, sometimes not. All just kind of depends on what you run into. Complimenting our Moskva, that was a really nice push that he took that really, really clinched this. So I'm coming in here, and this Montana, he's just cruising for damage. He's not looking where he's going. I need to try to get up here in front of my team so I can be useful. This guy should let me in front, but you know, that's perfect world. This random battle, so I'm just gonna run into him. And then I'm just gonna keep turning my rudder into him and just gonna try to work my way across in front of him. At this point, I see the Bismarck popping up. He's heading into us. Now, some people may try to head in this direction, and I'm not gonna do it. He's being shot at by so many different ships. I know my torpedoes aren't gonna get there in time. And right here, I'm looking, kind of seeing if he's gonna turn in. If he's gonna turn in, then if he's gonna angle at the Moskva, it's better for me to go wide. But he's staying on the same course, so I'm cutting hard over, smoking up, and this gives me a better shot for my AP. And you know, this is just cleaning up. Low health battleship. Trying to get the shots actually on the superstructure, and getting some okay volleys. I think he was pretty saturated, but at this point the game's over. 2 points left, and we'll take a look at the score. Now, like I said, 47k, not much damage. Only 2 kills, 2 assisted caps. The XP, I probably did alright. And right there, yeah. Third on the team. And that's because of all the destroyer damage. I got a decent amount of damage in on both the Kagero and the Shimakaze. Got a couple caps. The spotting damage I did, most of it's going to be on cruisers and destroyers. Right now I'm just taking a look at seeing what these missions were. I didn't really look at any of it. So yeah, at this point, not a lot of battleship damage. I actually only fired 8 torpedoes the entire game. Most of it was just positioning and spotting using my hydro. I still did 64k spotting damage, which, you know, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you look at what I was working on, none of it has a lot of HP. None of it, you know, these Clevelands and stuff, they don't really have heals or anything like that. Every hit point is critical to them. So, you know, that kind of spotting, it adds up in importance in a hurry. So, all in all, this game was more about playing the weak side flank and delaying, not getting pinned down, not dying, and just trying to be useful, finding their destroyers and pushing them back. I mean, if I hadn't tried to scout that Kagero while he was parked in the middle of the cap, eventually that guy would have made a beeline straight for our decap, and then all of a sudden now my team's in a pickle because we've got to try to chase down the destroyer that's going to be in the backfield, spotting everybody, torping everybody. um, and it's just going to be a pain in the ass. Um, so that move just kind of uh, made sure there weren't any gaps in our line for a destroyer to slip through, and it was nice. The Kagero paid for it, and it put a damper on that flank up until they completed their final push, and at that point, there's not much you can really do to hold back that many ships when you're just a destroyer. You got to try to get out of town, and um, in the case that I took, I tried to do it where I could I wasn't going to be out of the fight very long, and just that sneaky little move. I know my battleship's gonna die. There's nothing I can really do to save him. I can't even smoke him up with all the radar around. Um, but using his presence on the cap to mask my movement across the cap, radar's typically triggered by known events. Either you or a teammate were spotted and then became undetected, and the cruiser players watching the mini-map, and they see you basically drop off the mini-map within their radar range, they'll trigger it. Or they see you capping, or a teammate stepping on cap or something like that. Their radar covers the entire map or the entire cap. Um, they'll go on ahead and they know they have something within their radar range, and they'll trigger it. So if when you're watching the game, watch for these potential radar triggers. And if you see one of them coming up where your teammate's going to step on cap or something, um, go on ahead and, you know, if you know you're going to be in radar range, just start cutting out. Get yourself turned around. You can always back in. It's not a race. It's not a race. Play patient, play safe, and above all, just keep the spotting damage going. That's the new meta. Get that spotting damage flowing where, if you don't have that counter enabled, hop over into your settings, get it enabled, and watch. You can use that as a tool. If you've got spotting damage flowing and you've got enemies pushing into you, you are in perfect position for a destroyer. So just kind of some positional things to talk about, or that I just wanted to talk about briefly about, some of the triggers that you need to be aware of when you're working around radar. Um, Honestly, I see most of the radar coming before it even gets me, and that's why I'm able to uh, get turned past perpendicular to uh, the radar cruiser. It's that area where you're either bow on or perfectly perpendicular to the radar cruiser or broadside. That's where you eat the most amount of damage. Once you actually get your stern towards the cruiser, the damage you take really drops off because you've got a lot more flexibility in how you can dodge. So something to think about when you're working around radar. Um, the earlier that you think you're going to get uh, detected by radar, the earlier you think they're gonna radar. Get safe. It only takes a couple seconds to do it before you get actually radared, and then you don't have to go far. I mean, you can just go point your stern at them, and then just back in, and you'll be all right. So I know this is a little longer video with me rambling, with some general tips working around radar. There's been a lot of threads, a lot of comments on the forums about radars driving everybody wild, and it really is fine. It's just people need to learn how to work around radar. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video off now before I talk about it all night. Hope you guys have a great night. Hope you guys learned something, and I will talk to you later.